Sweetie, you just completely took the squeaker out of the toy, and now it's just a plastic bin.
Yeah, and he is happy with that.
Oh my gosh.
He's like, I have my little plastic bin.
Hi, I'm Caitlin.
And I'm Charlie.
And welcome to Outsmarting the Shadows, where we help you survive horror movies.
Yes. Yes, we do.
And this is little Milo over
We're back
here.
with Milo.
He is very upset.
Throwing hair everywhere.
Yes, he's throwing hair everywhere. He's very upset that he has a harness on.
No harness.
Yes, it's a little too big for him. But he gets really ornery about this. So we're trying to train him out of that.
Yes. Yes, we are.
So, Charlie, today, one of the very first of many things has happened.
Which is?
We had a comment from a viewer who gave us a movie suggestion.
Yes, we did.
And then we watched it.
We watched the movie.
So thank you so much, Pensive Whiskers, for suggesting Shaun of the Dead.
Shaun of the Dead, 2004.
2004. Yeah, so that's the movie that we watched.
Same year Saw came out.
Same year Saw came out, which was really cool. 2004 seems to be a really good year for horror movies. Yeah. So Shaun of the Dead is, I think it's classic, isn't it?
Yeah, I rewatching this movie, which originally I've never finished that movie.
Really?
Yeah, I always stayed at a specific scene, and for some reason I never finished it. And sitting and watching, I was like, "Wow, Simon Pegg looks really young."
Yeah, he does.
We saw him recently in that latest Mission Impossible movie, where he does, the tech guy in Mission Impossible.
Okay, so I have this thing with Simon Pegg where I always mix him up with Martin Freeman. And ironically, in Shaun of the Dead, Martin Freeman shows up as Simon Pegg's doppelganger. Remember when they're crossing paths with the other group? Martin Freeman is basically the guy that would be the Simon Pegg of that group. So Martin Freeman was in the UK version of The Office, and the lady who plays Diane in this movie.
I have no face to my mind, in my mind with that name.
Let me show you who it is.
What other film he's been at?
That's Martin Freeman.
Oh, okay.
And that's Simon Pegg. And
isn't he like the Hobbit, Bilbo Baggins?
Yes, he's Bilbo Baggins. So in the UK, because this movie is, it's an English movie, Martin Freeman and the lady who plays Diane, they are in a romantic movie or TV series called The Office that was the original Office in the UK.
Yeah.
And there was like a whole bunch of like, oh my God, will they, won't they thing in that series. And in this show, they kind of play off of a lot of that, but you have to have watched a lot of UK movies and TV series to understand that interaction between all those actors.
Okay.
It was really cool.
I caught some of them, like the one that's a comedian that's been in Hot Waters for some of his comedy.
He was Ed's doppelganger.
Yeah, his doppelganger.
So in Shaun, I want to go back to something that we've seen a lot in our viewers. So our viewers have been making a ton of comments about some of the movies that we have, in particular Saw. And a lot of people gave some really good suggestions for surviving Saw.
How so?
So
I read none of those.
Remember when we had an extensive conversation about the gentleman in the toilet? How he's reaching into he should have, like, why would he do that?
Why would you do that? Why not go to the top? I'll fill with puppet.
We had a great conversation about that, and one of our viewers pointed out that at that point he would just saw off his whole arm. He's like, no, this guy's an idiot.
Yeah, he is an idiot. Why would you do that? Yeah. Just with somebody else's poop hair?
Right?
I would saw off my arm too.
Right? That's ridiculous. No. So thank you so much for viewing that and for commenting. We really love those suggestions because that's what we ask for at the end of every episode.
So this movie was 2004. Having watched Simon Pegg in Mission Impossible and then watching him here, it was like, wow, he's really young in this.
He is really young.
Yeah. Was this after or before Hot Fuzz?
I don't know.
Right?
When was Hot Fuzz? Let's look it up.
I'm not sure. I know that. Is Hot Fuzz a horror movie? I don't remember. No, I think it's kind of like a thriller.
So I guess it's kind of like a horror. It was 2007. I guess it was kind of like a horror comedy. And remember, they also did that movie where they were bar hopping.
Yes.
And I forgot the
It's
name
the
of
bar
that
at
one.
the end of the world, something like that.
Yes.
Then they also tried to break into U.S. market with the Alien movie. But
Yeah.
that one didn't do so good.
Yeah, well, see, I want to watch all of those
Yeah,
because
we can
those
watch
are
those.
really, really good.
They're not really horror movies. We can't talk about them. I mean, we can do what we want.
Well, they are kind of horror movies, especially the bar at the end of the world one. I mean, that one's a horror movie.
I don't remember that one
It's
at
about
all.
aliens coming down to destroy everything.
Yeah, I remember watching it back when it came out, 2007. So it's a little bit after Shaun of the Dead.
Well, that's when Hot Fuzz was.
Yeah.
Let's look up the bar at the end of the world. So that's called The World's End.
The World's End.
And it was in
Right.
2013. That was
Oh.
way after.
Yeah, almost 10 years after, 9 years.
Yeah.
After Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah. And Shaun of the Dead, I think it was one of the first of its kind where it was like a horror comedy, but it took itself a little bit seriously, but it was actually a really good movie.
Yeah, it had pretty good gore when it had it.
Yeah.
Sparingly, but it's there.
So
They did the classic, I don't remember if it was on Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, or Day of the Dead, where they take the guy and they rip him to shreds. It's one of the three movies. They did that exact same theme.
They
in this
really
movie.
did, and it was
when
they did it really well.
When they got the guy and they just thread him and you see all the guts, which I think in the original Dawn, Day, Night, I don't remember which one of the Living Deads, they used pig guts for it.
Well, we need to mention a little bit late, but spoiler alert.
Yes,
if you
you're
have
gonna get
not
spoiled.
seen this movie, we're going to spoil the whole movie. Okay, so we start off this movie with Shaun.
Yes.
And Ed. And Shaun works at, it's kind of like a video store. It's like it's like an audio video tech store.
Yeah.
Do you remember Radio Shack?
It's it's not really like Radio Shack because Radio Shack didn't sell appliances.
Oh, I guess that's
this one
true.
they sell appliances. This is more like a mom and pop Best Buy.
Yeah, that just sells TVs and stuff.
Yeah, TVs and appliances and
Yeah,
stuff.
he's the manager there, and I love. So my favorite thing about this movie is that Shaun is totally oblivious to everything going on around him.
Yes.
And they go through this at least twice, where the first time he's living his life, things are starting to go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
The TV's saying that, something's happening.
Yeah, well, before that, we see the first scene when he gets up, right? And he's acting, like the zombie.
Yeah.
But then he goes through his routine, and we see his routine where everything is normal, where he goes to work, he
but you
trips.
can see hints of that something is is happening.
Yeah, you can. Well, you basically hear kind of news
Yeah.
articles and all about it.
And when he goes to like the little convenience store that he goes to, there's newspapers out, and the newspapers say like chaos or something,
Yeah.
and they
he
just
pays
ignore
attention to none of it.
nothing.
Yeah.
Not even a single person does he pay attention to.
Yeah.
He trips over like 4 things.
I think there's a good survival tip. Just be
Yes.
aware. Be aware of your surroundings at least.
Right? Just look down at your feet and look up at the people around you.
Right? Yeah.
Right? At least. So, I mean, the other survival tip I would say is like, if you're living a life that you're unhappy with and you're like consumed with, because he seems really consumed with his own misery.
Right?
If you're doing that.
It looks like he has his routine. He goes to work. He goes home with his he has 2 roommates. He has a girlfriend.
Yeah.
And then after that, they just go to a bar.
Yeah.
And drink.
And that's it.
And tell stories.
And that's their day.
Or talk.
Yeah. And they also, the thing, like Shaun just doesn't involve himself in his own life.
Yeah.
He's almost like disconnected from everything and everyone.
Yeah.
He doesn't appreciate his mom. He doesn't really appreciate his girlfriend or even his friends.
Yeah.
He just kind of does his thing.
He doesn't see where the world is coming to an end. He's just
Yes.
walking by. Like then, so after his first day, we see the bar where he has his girlfriend and his girlfriend has 2 friends, and they go out. They never go out alone, which I found that weird.
Yeah, that is really weird.
They go out.
He
to
always
this bar,
brings Ed.
and she always brings her.
She
friends.
always brings her roommate Diane and Diane's boyfriend, who I always forget his name. His name is David. Yeah, and and it's like, so you never spend any time alone together? Like, I don't understand that. You never
Right.
go out to eat? Like, when do you...
Yeah, it looks like they don't. And when she wanted him to do it, he kind
He
of like
just,
dropped the ball.
yeah, he did drop the ball.
Yeah.
That was really odd to me. So I can understand her reservations at that point. And it also seems like it makes, so this movie depicted, in my opinion, more about how most people would react to the zombie apocalypse. Most people, I don't think they would notice until the 9th hour.
I don't know. I don't think most people would notice. I think people would notice before, dead people are walking down the street.
I don't think so. I think a lot of people, I think probably 90% of the population just doesn't care. Like, they don't care about what's happening.
Okay.
I mean, that's my but I just don't think, I think that this would happen to a lot of people. Like,
I would hope that, at least our viewers are more aware of their surroundings and that,
I would hope
that
viewer listen.
everything is going down the drain really quickly, right? And there's dead people around and you're like, oh yeah, I don't have any change. I'll give you some change a little bit later.
Right? That was wild.
Yeah.
That was wild. Yeah. So then, of course, a zombie apocalypse happens.
Yeah.
And I love that Shaun immediately steps up.
I mean, not immediately, because all his ideas are stupid ideas.
Well,
they're idiot.
First thing, remember when the lady is there in their backyard?
Right.
And like, that's the first thing you're like,
yeah, they're like,
okay,
there's a lady, and she goes and she grabs onto it, and it's like, oh, there's something wrong with her eyes. She has dead eyes. And then he pushes her, she falls, we see a little bit of the gore, and then they're like, oh, let's just throw stuff at her at her head. Because they saw it in the news that you have to kind of like bash the head
so
in.
at that point, they finally know that there are zombies. And that...
Which they can't say the Z word.
Right. So I actually think that was the realistic... Like, no one's going to want to murder someone because they're in their backyard acting weird.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
He's like, get out of here. They were like, oh, this is a tweaker. She's drunk or something like that.
Right, exactly. And so that made sense to me. But then once they knew that they were zombies, I love that they threw records. Like, they don't get any realistic weapon at all.
They don't have a kitchen. They don't have knives or something.
Right?
They just take records and throw it at them. That was pretty cool.
That was awesome. And I love that they picked records that were like, no, keep that one. That one's the original.
That was trash. This was good.
This one's good.
Right? And then they finally decided to, okay, let's
get into the shed.
Yeah.
Okay, my favorite scene is, well, it's not my favorite, but it's one of my favorites, is when he in order to open the shed, right? They don't do the classic, like, oh my God, I gotta open it. He just flung himself through the door.
Yeah, as you would.
As you would.
Yeah, through a dingy shed.
Right? That makes sense.
We'll probably work in a lot of doors in the United States, too.
Yes, a lot of doors here are trash.
Are made out of cardboard.
Yeah, they are.
And broken dreams.
Cardboard and broken dream doors.
Yeah, that's a lot of them. That's what they're made of.
I mean, maybe that's a survival tip.
Well,
test your doors, replace them.
So when this happens, they realized, okay, we bashed these people in the head. Now we go home, and then they put on the news. Finally, they're listening to the news,
right?
Because
finally.
before this, you see them kind of like they put on the news. Oh, you see that something's happening. They changed to some randomness.
They just were scrolling the whole time,
and then they're like, oh, keep your doors and windows locked, everything locked. So another survival tip, just, maybe
lock your doors.
Lock your front, or not even lock it, maybe just close it.
Just close it.
Right? Close your front door.
And it's interesting
that has been a survival tip in other episodes, to lock your front door.
It has been. And this guy has a tendency to just walk through his front door and just not close it.
Yeah.
I sometimes do that.
Yes. Sometimes. I just come in, the door is open. Not unlocked, no, it's just open.
It's just ajar.
Right? And then there's a cat inside, there's a goat on the other side. Like, listen, these animals belong outside. They shouldn't be in the house.
I know. They shouldn't be in the house.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes.
Something people actually do. I thought it was only in movies.
So, in this movie, I would say definitely close and lock your doors. And I don't think we have windows that aren't locked.
Yeah. The only problem with windows in zombies is that, they're glass and they're finicky. They're easy to break.
Yeah, well, this was the
That's
first
why.
movie
That's why I say his idea is a stupid idea. You're going
because
to a
you're going
pub,
to a pub that has big painted
giant,
glass
right?
windows.
Giant windows.
I think they were safer in the apartment.
They were safer in her apartment.
Yeah, in that flat because it's at least on the second story. You've got a centralized point of like a
Entry.
funnel of entry.
Yeah. So if they would have just, if he would have gotten his mom, went to her apartment and
Yes.
just stayed there, they had all the amenities. They had kitchen.
Yeah, they all would have lived.
Yeah, they all would have lived. So his idea was a stupid one.
Yeah, David and Diane really suffered from that decision.
Yeah.
And Ed and his mom.
Yeah.
Everybody did.
Yeah, he got everybody killed.
Yeah, he did. But at least he was doing something. You know what I mean?
Listen, viewers. if that doesn't count. I mean, okay, at least I did something, but I got everybody killed. No, don't do anything and let everybody live.
Well, I actually think that okay, so I would really enjoy going through a zombie apocalypse with Shaun.
Yeah.
I think that he's not an idiot.
It depends on the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, that's true.
Because these zombies were Dawn of the Dead zombies.
Yes, they were slow.
They were slowish zombies. If they were, 28 days later
oh my
zombies,
God, everybody would be dead.
where they run and they're fast and they're strong and they're quick, everybody would be dead.
Yeah, in this show, all of our main characters would die from 28 Days Later zombies,
Right.
like immediately.
Yeah, they would. I mean, you could have some Resident Evil 4 type ganado zombies,
I guess
where
you
they
could.
are kind of slow, but they change and they mutate, stuff like that.
Yeah, that might be a more realistic idea about how this group could live, but I don't know. The 28 Days Later zombies, it felt like the only way to survive those zombies was to just hide, like run and hide.
And have good cardio.
Yeah, have good cardio.
Another tip: do your workouts.
Right, do your workouts, do your cardio.
Do some biking. High intensity interval training, a couple of minutes every day. That way, in case the zombie apocalypse comes, and they are 28 days later zombies, you can run.
Yeah.
You don't have to be faster than the zombie. You have to be faster than all your friends. That's how fast you have to be. So make sure in your group of friends, you're the fastest runner.
Or the second fastest runner.
Or the second fastest. No, because if you're the second fastest, there's going to come a point where there's only going to be two of you, and then you're dead.
Out of the two of us,
Uh-huh.
you would win.
Yes, out of the two of us, I gather I am the fastest runner.
You are the fastest runner.
Yes.
Yeah. I've had a couple of comments about this from viewers that I really have no business because I know nothing about running.
This lady looks like
this lady looks like she doesn't run at all. And I'm like, listen.
That was mean.
Well,
but thank you for the comment.
Yeah, but thank you for the comment. I have to say, it is quite astute. I do not look like I run. All right?
Yeah.
But listen, you don't know what's happened in my life. All right? Maybe I'm working up to it after a while. Okay? Yeah. You don't know.
Yeah.
And the thing is,
once you get a certain age, you eat a piece of sugar, you gain 20 pounds. You just look at a hamburger, you gain 30 pounds.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of other things that happen in people's lives that help them gain weight. The point is, if you want to be happy and healthy between probably the ages of 30 and 80, you really should start to incorporate healthier eating, healthier diet.
But forget that. If there's a zombie apocalypse coming, you need to be prepared, right? And if you're going to be prepared, you need to at least do some cardio.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying, like healthy eating and healthy cardio.
Yeah. And hopefully none of your family members are professional track and field runners. Because if they are, then you're never going to be faster than them.
Yeah. I mean, but the thing is, we don't want to encourage people to be faster than the people that they want to save.
Well, when it comes to it, you got to save yourself.
Okay. You take this.
You just run and then you just gently nudge them towards the zombies, just gently.
Okay.
And keep running.
Whoa.
And
keep
running.
Listen, survival is very different than like homicide. Okay.
But listen, it's the end of the world. Survival, homicide. Who's gonna tell? No one's gonna know.
You will know.
Yeah, but
you love these people.
Yeah, but you will know having survived.
Okay. Well, I think that is not going to work. Okay. But now in Shaun of the Dead...
She says that because she's not the fastest. That's the reason.
Aw.
Anywho.
No, well, in Shaun of the Dead,
Uh-huh.
Shaun is much faster than Ed.
Yes.
And if they had to run from a 28 Days Later zombie, Shaun would win and Ed would lose because
Yes.
Ed would he just wouldn't.
Yeah.
But
I find that interesting. In this movie, he has a girlfriend, right?
yeah,
But his soulmate is Ed.
it is interesting. Well, see, I disagree with that.
Really? How
Yeah.
so?
So he and Ed have a bond. They have a bond that, transcends time.
Yeah.
But
Transcends movie making too.
it it does. These two actors are featured together in everything.
Mm-hmm.
They're in everything. But I think that in this movie, Liz understands who he could be. Shaun understands who he was and the person that he is before he becomes the next version of himself. And that's a very powerful connection. Sometimes we have relationships with people because it reminds us of the versions that we used to be, whether that's good or bad. And I think that it's very hard to break that bond. But ultimately, when Ed died, when we saw him in the end, his life was much better.
Yeah. He was doing the same things he was doing with Ed, but with the lady.
But his apartment was clean. He was happier. He was engaged in his life. He had really made a transformation away from the person that he used to be. And now he was doing a lot of the same things, but I don't think that was really what even though she was like, I want to go live and do things.
Mm-hmm.
But what she really meant is, I want to engage in my life. They had a plan in the beginning of their day instead of just, well, we'll just do everything we do every single day. So I think there was a real transformation there. Of course, maybe I'm reading too much into Shaun of the Dead. It's just about people surviving zombies and just being fun idiots.
Yes.
But if you guys think about something more interesting and deep about this movie than is just regular Shaun of the Dead review, I would love to hear it. Like, do you think there's a meaning behind some of this? Because obviously, like, zombie movies are supposed to be meaningful. It's supposed to be about consumerism or something, right?
Yeah. Well, this one was just about normal bloke going about his life.
Oh my God! And the conversation he has with his stepdad.
Right at the end.
Oh my God!
Where he starts to cry.
That movie, or not that movie, that scene was so sad.
Yeah.
It was.
But they got the perfect actor to deliver
really
that
did.
scene.
Oh my God! Anything that he's in, I'm gonna watch.
Yeah.
He's just amazing.
Milo, are you
Are you
good?
okay?
Are you okay?
You're really obsessed with this toy all of a sudden.
Right? Putting on a show with your toy.
Yeah, you are.
Okay, so let's keep going.
Yes. Okay. So survival tip number 1, obviously, pay attention to your surroundings. Survival tip number 2, do cardio as much as you can.
Well, that's the third one. The second one is close your doors.
Yeah, close your doors.
Close your doors.
Lock
your doors.
Now, I want to emphasize that, like, if you're a person where you physically can't do cardio,
right,
like, there's a lot of people out there that have a lot of different physical conditions where they can't really put in the steps.
Yeah.
I think you're going to have to get really good at your defensive maneuvers. Weaponry.
I was going to say at shoving the people towards the zombies.
Oh, God, baby. No.
You're like, ha-ha! You shoved into the zombie. And that gives you, ha, method of escape. While they're, occupied with eating someone, then you, vamoose.
Something I was noticing. So remember when they pretended to be a zombie?
Uh-huh.
And they kind of got away with it for a while.
Yes.
So there's been a lot of this done throughout different zombie lore. The main one I'm thinking of is The Walking Dead.
The Walking Dead.
Where
The Walking Dead was a little different because in The Walking Dead it was tied to the scent, so they poured all the guts and stuff.
You don't really know what it's about in this one. Like, it could be.
Yeah, and this one is just magic. I don't know.
No. In The Walking Dead, it was tied to the scent, but it was also tied to the movement because at some point they did just walk amongst them and try and pretend to be them. They just like there's a whole group of whispers that like wore the skin of the dead. So if you can't do cardio, I would say you can experiment with some of that.
What if you get gag reflex?
Oh.
I mean, have you viewer / listener been next to the trash bin when you throw out a raw piece of meat?
Oof.
for a couple of days.
It's not okay.
It's not nice.
No.
It's not nice with the flies and the maggots.
Well, fortunately, in this movie, it only is featured the zombie apocalypse for the first 8 hours.
Oh, so they're clean.
Yeah, I think
they're not as stinky.
They probably won't be stinky.
I mean, I don't know. In a day, you start to get a whiff of that, nastiness.
Yeah. You know what I always think about? If zombies did exist, how would they exist inside dead flesh? Like, how does any virus exist inside of dead flesh?
Yeah, I just imagine you're putting all that gunk on you. What if it gets in your mouth? It's like drinking trash juice. You know that little juice in trash cans that's kind of like whitish clear.
Please stop describing it.
It had little maggots in it. Just take a chug of that, put it in a cup, and just gulp that down. Sounds gross. Sounds awful.
It sounds disgusting.
Yeah.
I'm so glad that you described that for our
yeah,
listeners.
the listener can't see us, so he needs to know what we're talking about. So, listener, you know when you go to those restaurants, trash cans...
I don't really want to get into that. That's
and you have that little white juice.
No, it's okay. So, in terms of survival, there is a possibility that you could maybe, move yourself amongst the zombies themselves.
I'd still say it's going to be dependent on how strong your stomach is with scents and liquids and rotting meat.
Ugh, yeah. Okay, so that survival might work if you can't do cardio. But in this movie, the other thing, let's talk about how they went to go get everybody. I think that this is one of the movies where the reason why it worked is because it was so early on. Like, while everybody had been transformed, they were really slow. They hadn't really gathered. Like, a lot of zombies were just scattered.
Yeah, because at the end, they started to gather in front of the pub.
Yeah, yeah. But I think that if there's no gathering, you can move around easily. You grab yourself a nice car, you go get your loved ones at different locations.
They're kind of slow, so you can walk around, just bang them in the head.
Yeah, you really could, actually. That might be a good tip. Like, if there's slow-moving zombies...
Go live out in the woods.
Why the woods?
Because there's not a lot of people in the woods.
Yeah, that's a good... well, then you need regular survival. Yeah, then we get into alone.
Whoa. We don't know if it affects animals in this movie.
Oh, and remember it said anyone who dies... He's recently dead.
Can you imagine you're in the woods and not only are you dealing with zombies, but now you're also dealing with a zombie bear.
Or a zombie deer.
Right? A zombie deer. How would that attack you? I mean, a bear is creepy enough.
Yeah. That would be a lot. Okay, maybe the woods is not the best option.
Right. Yeah, probably not.
Personally, I like the idea, because I got this from The Walking Dead, I like the idea of either a school or a prison, because they usually have fencing around the entire perimeter of those locations.
You know what would be a good place?
What?
Disney.
Wow.
Yeah, because Disney, that I'm pretty sure they have, the Disney security have everything locked down. I'm pretty sure you can lock everything down and make it so that people can't come in.
I guess that's
true. Just theme parks.
Yeah, theme park sounds like it might... it could either be a great idea or it could be a terrible idea.
No, it's a great idea. Look, those little rides that are the like a giant big wheel?
Right? The Ferris wheel.
The Ferris wheel. So you get into one of those little things every night, and then you go up and you sleep in it. You're going to be safe. Unless there's flying zombies, or birds are also zombies, or zombie bats that can get to you. You're golden.
Yeah, well, and most of those Ferris wheels now have cages around them, or even plexiglass, which is even better. Yeah, it's like nothing's getting in there.
You can get a portable AC, run a really big extension, and there's still electricity.
You could very slowly just go through all of the zombie guests and kill them if they're slow-moving zombies.
Right. Have fun. Put them in rides.
Put the zombies. Okay. First tip here. Okay. Put zombies in theme park rides. Yeah. And just watch.
It's just a roller coaster.
Just a roller coaster.
And a roller coaster, and then let the seatbelt a little bit loose.
Yeah.
See what happens.
Just see what happens. Yeah. Well, it might be a good idea. Like, if you could set up like one of those long saws where when they come back, they get all their heads chopped off.
Yeah, like the little boat thing that goes round and round.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That solves your zombie problems.
Yeah. Theme parks. Head to your nearest theme park in the complete and total societal collapse due to zombies.
Well, what would be the nearest theme park for us? I guess for us it would be Busch Gardens.
Busch Gardens, right? There's a lot of roller coasters, Busch Gardens.
Yeah, I don't know if Busch Gardens would be the safest place, though.
I mean, we could go to the zoo.
Yeah, we could go to the Lowry Park Zoo.
Yeah.
I mean, we do love the zoo. That's a place that we go to all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And the zoo is fairly secure.
Yeah.
That's got some nice solid 8x8s to make up a lot of those fences.
Yeah, you go into the, which is it? And the ape enclosure. It's not really on the enclosure. It's like, it has a little pond in it. You can be with the apes.
No, you know how I feel about primates. I'm not.
Right?
I'm never.
Then imagine zombie primates.
Oh my God! Can you imagine? So we take, in order for us to survive, we take all of our farm into Lowry Park, and we just, we have to let. Well, they have. I mean,
they have a little goat place.
They have a goat place,
but that is really small.
Yeah, but we could just wall off the Wallaby Center in general, and we could, that would be just where we feed them and stuff. Anyway, we're just planning because my favorite thing to go see at the zoo is the goats.
Right, but they don't. What would you eat? They don't have cows. Well, I guess you could eat manatees, but who wants to eat manatees?
Why would we eat the manatees? Sweetie, you just completely took the squeaker out of the toy, and now it's just a plastic bin.
Yeah, and he is happy with that.
Oh my gosh!
He's like, I have my little plastic bin. Anyways.
Anyway.
Well, you need food, right?
Right.
There's no cows. What zoo has cows? No zoo that I've ever been to has a cow.
Well, they have like rhinos and elephants and stuff.
Would you prefer to eat a rhino or an elephant than a manatee?
I don't want to eat any of them.
Yeah, but I know rhinos. First of all, how are you gonna get an elephant? You're not bare hand knuckle fisting an elephant like let's duel.
Well, you're not gonna bare hand knuckle fist a cow.
He's just gonna go like bam, and you're done. A rhinoceros? You're not going to kill a rhinoceros with your bare hands.
No, but you're not going to kill anything with your bare hands.
Yeah.
Well, you think you're going to kill a manatee with your bare hands?
I mean, they're dumb and they just float. They just they just float around.
Sweetie, please stop making that noise. Okay, listen. I think that if we make the zoo our home from the zombie apocalypse,
yes.
All right, I'm not killing any of the animals.
Okay.
All right.
At some point, we have to eat something, and we're not gonna kill none of our goats.
No, of course not. Those are our babies.
Yeah. What do you guys think? Leave us a comment. Where would you?
Yeah, where would you hole up?
Yeah, in a zombie apocalypse. Now,
baby,
we gathered that a pub or a bar in the U.S. here or
probably
here
not
is
the
not the best idea. We say, or I say, a theme park or a zoo.
I have a great idea.
Uh-huh.
So you hole up at that Home Depot that's right next to Sam's Club.
Oh, Home Depot, yeah.
Right?
Right next to Sam's Club.
Right next to Sam's Club. Right. You can make
or
yourself
a
nice perch. Yes.
Yeah. Because in movies, so in Dawn of the Dead, we saw them hold up in a mall.
Right.
1980s, 70s / type mall.
Yeah.
Which was kind of like the pinnacle of mall, right? Of the malls. And we see prisons in Dawn of the in Walking Dead. We see a prison and also a school.
Yeah, there's not actually a school.
No. Oh, but there's a school we see a school which is nightmare fuel in that show. I remember what it was called. The Blackest Night or something like that. That zombie show.
Yeah, I forgot the name of it too.
Yeah. So they had a school there. So we haven't seen. Well, we see in Zombieland they kind of like go to a theme park.
Yeah, they do go, but they don't really go there and make it a survival thing. It's like they go there. I don't know. They didn't do that well. They didn't do this.
They just went and then.
They just went and then they left.
Okay.
They weren't like making a society at a theme park.
Yeah.
Milo, oh my God, buddy, you are.
He's excited about his toy today.
A ball of energy.
Right. Okay, so I say a theme park / zoo. No, you say zoo and I say theme park.
Let me rethink zoo, because if we went to a zoo to survive a zombie apocalypse, I would want to save all the animals and take care of them continuously.
I would only do that depending on if the zombie, virus affects animals.
If it does?
If it does, I wouldn't want to do that.
No. If it does, you can't go to a zoo.
Right? You can't.
Yeah, because eventually the animals are going to die. How do you take care? I would have to release all of the animals away from the zoo so they could at least have a chance.
So here's how you test this. If you have an animal, a little dog, a little cat, you give it to the zombies so they can nibble on him a little bit. Not enough to kill him, but just a little nibble. And then you put that dog or animal, in quarantine and see if they turn. If they don't turn, then it's fine. You can go to the zoo. If they do, you just murdered your animal.
I mean, I don't think that you need to do that. I think eventually life is going to show you the way anyway. Because eventually an animal's going to get bit. And in this one, they said recently dead were coming back to life. So eventually an animal's going to die. And it'll...
Well, it'll probably be a dog. No cat will get bitten.
No. No. Right? No cat. Well, except for our cats.
Yeah, those are idiots.
Yeah, we have some really dumb cats.
Yes. Not the gutter cats.
No, not our barn cats. Our barn cats are super smart.
Right. Our barn cats say, "You ain't catching me." Ah!
Yes,
they run away.
They would be gone. They would live their best lives.
Right.
Most cats would live their best lives in the zombie apocalypse.
Yes, they would.
So once they get to the bar, I think that their mistake was that they didn't actually make barricades.
Yeah, they did the crappiest barricades. They just put kind of like chairs all up against it. He's like, "No, I want my toy.
No, sweetie,
Give
you
me
can't
my toy.
have your toy because you make too much
put it
noise."
Out here. He'll be fine. He'll be fine. He'll be fine. Come on. Come over here. There you go.
Well, calm down.
Calm down and get your toy. He's excited because it's red and it's new.
I know. It's new. I don't think he can see red.
Yeah, but it's different.
It is different.
It is different than how it was.
It's like a new toy.
Yeah, it's a new toy. Now, it's slippery.
This is the skin of the toy.
Right.
And he got the innards out. Could you please? This is the loudest thing I've ever heard in my life.
That's okay. Viewer/listener doesn't mind.
Okay.
If you do, leave us a comment.
Yeah, we haven't actually gotten any comments about the Milo's toys yet.
Right.
But this is probably the loudest one we've ever had on the show.
I guess we'll find out.
Yeah,
anyway,
sorry.
So zoo/theme
park. Okay, so they're in the bar, and
yes, they didn't put good shutters.
Yeah, then they didn't sweep the bar.
What does that matter? Why would you want to sweep the bar?
Because you need to see if there's other zombies in the bar.
Oh, I thought you were talking about sweeping the floor. Why would you sweep the bar?
What do you mean you gotta sweep the floor?
It's the end of the world. I came to this place. Maybe I should clean the floor.
Just clean it.
Do you have a broom? I need to sweep the location. That makes no sense.
No, that does make no sense.
Why would you want to sweep when, there's complete and total societal collapse outside with, brain-eating creatures that want to murder you?
So...
I think sweeping, this is not a survival tip. Do not sweep. In fact, this is the opposite of a survival tip. This is a you want to die tip. Just take your time to clean. Right? To sweep.
So if there was a cellar, first of all, they should have seen if there was any more zombies in there.
Okay.
Then don't worry about the lights. Why do you need the lights on?
Yeah.
Why would they even attempt?
They want a TV?
Well, if they wanted a TV, they should just wait. Just wait. It's not the time.
Right. Wait until it's daytime.
Yeah, or until it's nighttime. But the first thing that they would do when they would get in there, in my opinion, is they should have gone into the cellar.
Yeah. They knew there was a cellar.
They knew there was a cellar. They should have just gone into the cellar.
Yeah. They didn't.
No, they made all the wrong choices.
Yeah. And then that guy, when he got the gun and then tried to kill...
Right, David, Jesus, that was really awful.
It was like...
He is really in love with Liz.
Yeah. I'm glad he got torn to pieces.
When David got torn to pieces, I don't think anybody was upset about it. But then the fact that Diane kind of tried to go after him like
with
crazy
his leg.
town.
I'm coming
with his
for
leg,
you,
I'm coming
right?
for you, David, with his own
and they
leg.
tore all his limbs, his head. You can see that they tore his head. And
right?
Just,
and I was like,
I'm coming to save you. There's no saving.
There's no
You're
saving
beating them
him.
with his leg.
Oh, what a sad relationship that, like, she knew that he was in love with her roommate, but she still loved him.
Yes.
That was really heartbreaking, that moment. When not only did she know this entire time but she just accepted it.
Yeah.
Like that she was always going to be number 2.
Yeah. I don't like that guy.
Yeah, I hate David.
Yeah, that was not
I'm
cool.
glad that David died.
You should be faster than David.
Be faster than David.
Yeah.
In a zombie apocalypse.
Nudge him towards the zombies.
What a mean guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this movie had a lot of interpersonal connections that were interesting.
Mm-hmm.
I also really liked Barbara. I thought she was really sweet, and how much Ed loved Barbara.
Right.
Shaun's mom.
Yeah. And she was so happy always.
Yeah, and okay, also when Shaun was imagining, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go get my mom. And she's like, oh, I'm going to.
Yeah, she's so happy.
So
like,
happy.
Yeah.
That was the best.
And at one point, she was acting. At some point, I thought this lady had Alzheimer's or something.
She was in
every
shock.
Every time they would talk to her, she was like, "Oh, hello," like, "Oh, nice to meet you." It's like, what is wrong with this lady? But then it comes out that she was just freaking out because
she knew she was going to die,
yeah.
and she was just in shock. You know, she just watched her husband die of 17 years. How could Shaun still be upset with him after 17 years?
Right.
You know, he's known this guy since he was 12 years old, and he's treated him like crap his entire life.
Yeah.
That's not nice.
But it looks like the guy wasn't also nice to him.
Yeah, but I mean, he explained it. You know, he was trying to be a strong role model. He was like, I just believed in you so much. I wanted you to have someone that you could look up to that, like...
Yeah, and then he tells his mom, "Oh, he touched me." And then
Jesus Christ!
And he was like, "No, that was wrong.
That was a lie." I love that she turns around and she's like, know you.
She's like, really?
Really? This is the tax that you're going to take?
And he's like, no, he didn't do that. That was just a lie.
So,
That's a lie.
one of my favorite things about Shaun is that he really does go to any lengths to try and convince the people he's around of whatever he wants. And then he just backs out of it because, like, okay, that was too far.
That was wrong.
That wasn't real.
Yeah. So, overall, just don't go to a pub or a bar.
Don't go to any place with large windows.
Right. What other place that doesn't? Because if you think about it, every retail store has large windows. Unless you're in a mall, but malls right now, they're not a thing. They all have died off, right? If you go, you could just go to like this guy that goes to abandoned places. Bright Sun Films is the YouTube channel. It's all about malls and stuff that have just broken down and they're not a thing. Yeah. At least here in the U.S.
And by the way, Bright Sun Films has really amazing footage of stuff. Yeah. If you wanna get your creativity going around sort of horror stuff, that's a really good avenue to go to. Because as someone who I do a lot of fun writing, you know, and like horror writing, it's a really great YouTube channel to check out. So you guys should. I'll put a link in it down below.
Yes, we will.
So I think that this movie demonstrated what everybody would probably go through, like the stages in a zombie apocalypse. Like first they're like oblivious, then they do stupid stuff to kill them, then they kind of make a plan. The plan doesn't really work out.
Almost everybody dies.
Almost everybody dies.
And then society stabilizes.
Yeah.
In the end, society stabilized.
Yeah.
And in this movie also, zombies keep a little resemblance of who they were.
Yeah, they do.
Because his friend was still playing PlayStation. His stepdad turned off the music because it was too loud.
Yeah, he did. Zombie. And like his former coworkers who were zombies all just went back to their jobs.
Could you imagine dying and having to go back to work, even dead? That
would be awful.
That would be the nightmare.
Yeah.
Yeah, like RoboCop.
Can you imagine your mind?
He was killed on the job, and then after death, he was forced to work.
I know.
Right?
Yeah.
What an existence.
What a corporate hellscape.
Right? Yes.
And actually, there's the meaning. You know, because remember in the beginning, all the people who ended up being zombies in the end and still working looked like zombies in the beginning. So it was kind of like corporations and, you know. Maybe.
I don't know. What do you think? Let us know.
Let us know what you think. I thought that this was a really great example of the best of horror comedy.
Yeah, it was a pretty good one. There's a couple of horror comedies that we still have to look. What do you guys think? If you have a horror comedy that we should look at next, leave a comment down below.
Yeah. Something that I've never really considered as a survival tip, but I think is really important. Remember to try and make a little bit of fun. Keep your sense of humor in a survival situation.
I mean, it depends on the zombies. I come back to that one again. There's no fun to be had in 28 Days Later zombies. It's just going to be tension and paranoia for the rest of your life.
Okay, I do know that when you are set your mind to a task, that no humor can interject. Like,
yeah, but listen, these zombies you can have some fun. They're slow, Night of the Living Dead type zombies. You can have fun. They're kind of slow. You can gaff with them, but not 28 Days Later zombies. 28 Days Later zombies. They see you, you see them, you run.
I understand. But eventually, if you survive the first couple of waves of this, of any survival situation, you're probably going to have to come back to a sense of some kind of routine or normalcy around the new living situation. And within that, you have to remember you're a human being. You have to have a little bit of fun.
Think of it this way. Shaun of the Dead zombies are like pandas. Okay? And
yes.
38 Days Later zombies are like polar bears. Right? You can have fun with a panda bear. You will not have fun with a polar bear.
No, you won't.
Yeah. They're both bears, but they're completely different type of bears.
Polar bears hunt you.
Yeah.
Panda bears are drunk children.
Yeah.
Just falling off of a little hill.
They can kill you, but only if you get too close.
Only
and they
if
really
you
want
actively hug them.
Right. If you actively
Even
hug
if you're
them,
like 3 or 4 feet away, they're probably not going to get you.
They're probably harmless, right? But a polar bear, he sees you, you're dead.
He gets your scent from a mile away,
not
and
even
you're
has
dead.
to see you. Just that day you didn't wear deodorant,
Yeah.
You didn't clean the poop all that well. He's gonna smell you, and you're dead.
Dead.
That's the difference. Either you have fun with polar bears, which I don't see anybody having fun with polar bears. I mean, if I'm wrong, let us know in a comment down below.
Yes.
Or have fun with panda bears. Anybody can have fun with panda bears. That's how I see it.
We're probably vastly underestimating panda bears.
Right? Maybe they're vicious.
It could be because
murderous beasts.
they're just fluffy, and it could be that the workers who work with them are taught extreme safety measures in the beginning.
Think about it. Every bear killing that you've ever heard, how many of them have been panda bear mauls person to death?
1.
Out of how many?
Out of at least 800,000.
And that one was probably a guy that was drunk, or somebody that was drunk.
He jumped into the panda bear enclosure.
There you go.
And the panda bear killed him.
Yeah, he probably got close to the panda bear.
Yeah.
And started to pet him or hug him.
He probably just thought he was his drunk friend, Steve.
Right? Yeah, that's. So I wouldn't have fun with polar bears.
No.
Tip of the day. The only tip you have to, take away from this podcast is do not try to have fun with polar bears. If you're in a place, I don't know, where polar bears are a thing, in the tundra.
The tundra.
In the tundra.
Right.
Don't have fun with them. Just leave them alone, and you'll be fine.
You heard it here first.
Yes, you heard it here first.
So thank you so much for joining us today on our podcast about surviving Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah. Did you survive? Let us know.
Let us know. I would love to hear your comments on your tips. I'd love to hear some movie suggestions that you have in the future. And if you have underlying meaning that you got from Shaun of the Dead, or if I'm just overthinking it.
Yeah. Let us know.
Yeah. So remember, be safe, be vigilant, and be the last one standing.
Always.